Okay, this is Uncle Bert Lamb saying hello from Beastburg. We're broadcasting from planet Darkstar today to your planet Earth. We want to thank you for sending Earth songs to us in musical notation format and for making them show up as screensavers on our idle computers. This Darkstar Journal show is a sort of return gift from our little group. On Darkstar, it is 3215, the 8th month, August, and the 12th day. Saturday, we were in West Cleanser with Acrylic for the weekend. Ellie stayed home in the borough as she wanted to be with Jenny Chinchilla, who was subbing as projectionist Saturday night at the Beastie Cinema. On Friday night, we got off the ferry in good time to make Dick, Rosabella's father, some of his favorite corn chowder. Saturday morning, we mooched around West Cleanser, touring the farmers' market. Acrylic went off for a walk with her Aunt Rachel Ram in the afternoon, and I drove Rosabella and her father down the coast to Woolen's new place, Tiger House, for afternoon tea. Martha was there for the weekend with Woolen. She had brought her father, Alan Tiger, out from town for his first visit since he had sold Tiger House, as well as his house in Deep Poultry, to our Woolen. He had had to know all about the property sharing agreement between Woolen and Martha, as it affected how much money he was making from the sale. Martha got him to drop the asking price by 20% to justify her keeping that much equity in the two properties. What she didn't tell him was that she and Woolen had become a same-sex, mixed-species couple, committed to spending the rest of their lives together. The money exchange was mostly just to keep their real relationship out of the picture and to provide for Alan financially. But they felt that Alan Tiger could not be trusted to keep their relationship, which is currently illegal in Bulliam, a secret. We parked and walked in. The only change from our first visit was Woolen's piano in a corner of the sitting room. 40 years ago, I bought this walnut upright for the Super Duck studio, and it was great to have it here in this new family house. I'd occasionally seen Alan Tiger to look at the BU Faculty Club and, of course, on TV, and I'd even heard the great Tiger lecture, but I'd never met him to talk to before. He led us out onto the porch on the cliff-top side of the house. Martha and Woolen followed with the tea service and then went back to the kitchen. I'd barely glanced at the porch last week when I had the tour. It's a wide porch, almost half the width of the house, with a low ceiling and surrounded by close pine trees on two sides. It juts out on stilts built into the rocky ledge, and there is a view of the seashore a couple of 100 feet below. The porch furniture looks like it's been there forever, with rattan chairs and rockers and a swinging bed tied to the ceiling by 4 ropes. The one unusual feature is a large fixed telescope on a metal pedestal, pointed out to sea. There were no screens in the panel where the telescope poked through. Instead, there was some kind of clear plastic contraption that allowed the telescope to swivel without letting bugs in. Dick Sheep followed us in and slurped his tea down very fast and said he wanted to walk the cliff steps down to the bay. He strode off the porch into the house. In a couple of minutes, we could see him through the pines, stepping quickly but gingerly down an old staircase built into the steep wall of the cliff. Alan Tiger talked small talk and sipped his tea. As soon as we were alone, though, Alan, who had appeared somewhat elderly and frail, suddenly bristled with energy and turned on me. "I hear you believe in aliens." He almost shouted at me. "If you mean," I quickly replied, "that I have been public about my belief that the ghosty songs, by authors with names like Irving Berlin and George Gershwin, are produced by some extraterrestrial beings on a distant planet, then I must admit that this is true. I have been entirely public about my belief." Alan leaned forward, pointing a finger at me and slitting his eyes. "And do you believe that aliens cast their influence on the early days of this planet? Is Darkstar culture the product of alien influence?" "I have no opinion about that," I said. In fact, I'm aware that the idea of aliens casting influence was originally your own opinion back in your younger days. You were the one who popularized the idea. I was wrong, said Alan. Since then, I've looked at new fossils, and the longer ice age that we discovered means there was time for animals to teach themselves to speak in shared languages. My early theory about alien beings coming down and teaching us to speak was a theory I regret. It was just a theory, and it's been proved wrong. Still, I said, I liked your idea that animals just barked and quacked and howled until a higher life form helped teach us all plain speak. By the way, I went on, my wife Rosamond likes your books very much. I never read them, but years ago she brought me to a couple of your lectures, and they were very interesting and well-reasoned. And now, said Alan Tiger, not letting go of how the conversation had started, you believe that aliens are putting up these song sheets on our idle computers, and for what reason? Of all the slight, stupid, and unlikely things to present us with, why would aliens want to treat us to a formula for an endless stream of silly pop songs? Do they have nothing better to give us? This I don't know, I had to admit. I can't claim to understand the whole thing. I just love many of the songs. Balderdash! The great tiger barked at me. Woolen poked her head out through the door from the house and said, Papa, did you see your old piano? It's just been tuned. Can you play us a song? With pleasure, I said. Play Little Jazz Bird, she said. Alan Tiger grabbed his cane and followed me in, and I settled myself at the piano. This is one of those ghosty songs we were talking about, written by George Gershwin and his brother Ira. Or more likely it was written by Tit and Tat Polecat from Nickel Dime, said Alan, showing he had read up about the subject. As you please, said I, not rising to the bait. And with Alan and Woolen standing and listening, I played and sang the song straight through. Into a cabaret, one fatal day, a little songbird flew. Found it so very gay, he thought he'd stay just to get a bird's eye view. When he heard the jazz band playing, he was happy as a lark. To each measure he kept swaying, and he stayed till after dark. Then back to the land he knew, thrilled through and through, he sailed on in the air. Called all the other birds, and in these words started gurgling then and there. I'm a little jazz bird, and I'm telling you to be one too. For a little jazz bird is in heaven when it's singing blue. I say it with regret, but you're out of date. You ain't heard nothing yet till you syncopate. When the going is rough, you will find your troubles all have flown. If you warble your stuff like the moaning of a saxophone, just try my recipe, and I'm sure you'll agree that a little jazz bird is the only kind of bird to be.